Hey guys, this is Ike's with RolloutReviews, doing another casual DX Kamen Rider Ghost unboxing. Today we're going to be taking a look at the Eyecon Driver G. But before I get into things, I do want to point out that this is the first ever video that I am filming with my recently purchased new camera. Things probably look a little bit different. Things certainly sound a little bit different. I'm also using some new soft boxes for the lighting, but you probably can't tell much of a difference on that front. The reason I'm pointing out the new camera situation is because I'm still getting used to a lot of its features. It's a little bit overwhelming, and over the course of this video, I might run into some issues as far as focus and exposure goes, and I want you to bear with me. Fortunately, this is a pretty casual environment to test things out in, so let's hope for the best. Anyway, here is the Eyecon Driver G. This is Kamen Rider Ghost's new belt. Yes, he is getting a new belt entirely for this single form, which is kind of an interesting way of doing things. Instead of having a singular icon, a singular new icon that he inserts into the Ghost Driver, he just kind of replaces the Ghost Driver entirely. Strangely, I'm okay with that. This is for his new form, Grateful, which combines all 15 of the great icons together into one form. At first I thought it was extremely busy looking, and I wasn't too fond of the design. But like pretty much all Ghost forms thus far, I start out not liking it too much, and then it really grows on me. This is no exception, and especially in these promotional images on the box for this driver, it looks a whole lot better than it did in the original scans that we saw several months ago. So that's very cool. I also think it looks pretty good on screen, too. As you can see, like on the side here, the helmet, extremely busy, kind of clustered. It's a little bit difficult to get used to, but here's a better shot of the suit. It's got the face plates of all 15 icons all across this gold and black armor. There's Musashi front and center there. And then the helmet is actually made up of the head ornaments on the hoods of all 15 previous Damashi. While it looks a little bit weird, I just have to commend the fact that they managed to get something half decent out of cramming 15 forms together into one, you know? But here is the driver itself. It's a big old icon, and that's kind of cool. Instead of, putting an icon into the driver just is an icon, and there are a ton of sounds in this thing. It kind of gets rid of the icon gimmick we've seen in the line thus far. It doesn't interact with the previous icons we've seen at all, but like I said, I think it makes up for it because of how many sounds they packed into this thing. You can see that the face here is all 15 of the faces with Grateful's face in the center there. And Grateful's face is kind of like an inverted version of Ore, where instead of black eyes and an orange face, it has yellow eyes and a black face. And I think that is very cool. A lot of bells and whistles for this form. Does a lot of cool things like summoning individual ghosts to fight alongside it, and that's extremely cool. Here you can see all 15 of the top of the icons here up top on the box. Very cool box design too, really colorful. You have all the icons all over the place. I'm loving the way this looks, so let's crack it open and see what's inside. Okay. Another cool thing about this camera is that the viewfinder is a whole lot easier for me to see on this side. It's also a whole lot easier for me to operate and adjust the camera from over here, so I don't have to run around on the other side of the camera just to move things down if need be. Also, the new lights I mentioned earlier too are positioned a whole lot further back, so I have a whole lot more room and don't need to walk around the lights to do that too. It's just going to be a whole lot smoother, I think, especially for these videos from here on out. Now, It's worth noting that the box is way smaller than the original Ghost Driver, which is actually a good thing. And I appreciate that it seems like this belt is just a bit smaller than the Ghost Driver as a whole. Because the Ghost Driver is pretty big, and I'll do some comparisons with this new belt here in a second. Let me bring the camera down here. Like I said, don't really need to run around anymore, which is just a whole lot better for the production of these videos. But anyway, here you have the instructions. I might reference these while I take a break to put the batteries in this eventually. This does a whole lot of things, and you know, I've watched a few videos from you know, Japanese YouTubers who have been testing this belt for the past week. So I'm kind of familiar with all the things it does, but there are the instructions there just in case I run into any problems. So first, let's take a look at the belt straps here. They look pretty much identical to the belt straps on the Ghost Driver, except they're in gold rather than orange. So let's take those out of the bags here. Yep, there you go. Kind of a nice silvery plastic. Let's see if we can't get the camera focused on that here. There we go. Sorta? Yeah, think so. Yeah, okay. There you go. Nice kind of a shiny gold rubbery plastic there for the belt. Of course, you probably will need some kind of belt extender here, official or custom, to wear this yourself if you aren't a small child. Okay. You, of course, also have the little strap thing that goes on the back of the belt to keep the straps together. Again, it's pretty much the same mold as it is on the Ghost Driver, just in gold instead of black. And now we'll take a look at the belt itself. Let's get this off to the side here and see what this has to offer, see what it looks like. So yep, it is just a big old icon. That is what it is. Like I said, whole lot smaller than the Ghost Driver. Like just the smaller icons, it actually has a little film here over the clear plastic. So let's see if we can neatly remove that. You know, icons do an excellent job at attracting dust and also being very shiny. You can kind of see my lighting setup in the background there. But yeah, this is just you know, a bigger version of it, so it probably attracts dust a whole lot easier, which is certainly something to look forward to. It looks really, really cool. It's got, you know, some red on this side, a little lever on this side. That's a button. And then it has a little screen here. Well, it's not a screen. It's more of like a window. To some stickers. And internally, it shifts to display all 15, I guess 16 in total, including the G15 grateful face there. So yeah, it literally is like all 15 icons in one. Displays the name on that little window there as well. Now it just looks blank. It looks like you know, the iris mode of an individual icon. Seeing that the camera's having a little bit of difficult time focusing here, but it'll light up internally and kind of reveal the 15 faceplates once we turn this thing on. Kind of similar to the boost icon in a way. I can already see dust starting to accumulate on this thing. Like the Ghost Driver, it does have the very simple, what is it? The very simple battery cover here that you just kind of press a button in, no screws required. Let me get a toothpick here so I can show that off. There you go. You just kind of press in this little button here, if I can get a close-up on that. Yep, and then it slides right off, And there you got the batteries. Takes 3 AAAs like usual. So no surprises there. Again, focus is probably the most tricky thing I'm gonna have to get used to on this camera. But yeah, there is the Eyecon Driver G. Let's do, before we have sounds, let's just do a quick test. See how this works. So you pull that, switches to Musashi, Edison, Robin, Newton, Billy, Beethoven, Benkei, Goemon, Ryoma, Himiko, Tutankhamen, Nobunaga, Houdini, Grimm, and Sanzo, and then back to Grateful there. Very, very cool mechanism. And if you can, look up a video by Watofa, I think it is, a Japanese YouTuber, and he takes this whole thing apart so he can repaint it, and the innards of this look super, super cool. But without further ado here, I'm going to do a quick cut, probably attach the belt straps if I have room for it, get some batteries inside, and then we'll take a look at all of its glorious sounds. Over the break, I discovered one weird thing about this camera, or at least something I'm not used to, and that's, well, when filming in 4K, which is something I can do now, it actually splits the segments up into 6-minute scenes. Hopefully that won't be too difficult to stitch together in post, but I guess I'll find out. Again, learning new things here. But anyway, here we have the Eyecon Driver G all put together. The batteries are in place. I'm gonna get ready to put the battery cover back on here in a second. I do have the straps attached, but I'm actually gonna go ahead and take those off. I just wanted to get you an idea of what it looked like here. Basically exactly the same straps as the Ghost Driver, as I mentioned. It's just easier to demonstrate what this thing does, and it's easier for comparisons to have it strapless here. Here it is next to a standard Eyecon here. I brought Ore out, and it's a good 3 times bigger, so if you have one of these for comparison, that'll give you an idea. Let us attach the back cover here. Again, 3 AAA batteries will do the trick, and we should be good to go. But before we turn it on, here it is with the Ghost Driver. And honestly, while it is a whole lot thinner this way, I was hoping its profile would be a little less pronounced than the Ghost Driver, but it's about the same. It's also actually a little bit taller. So while I think it technically is smaller overall, it's still a pretty big driver. Take that as you will. So, that out of the way, there is one more thing I wanted to do with this, and it's something I doubt it has functionality for, but I actually wanted to see if eye contact worked with this, because it is a big eye. So, does it have the sensor? Does not appear so, which is unfortunate. Just like the Sunglass Slasher does not have eye contact functionality, neither does this, which is unfortunate because Grateful, does use the Sunglass Slasher and the Gangun Saber, and it would have been nice to have, the eye contact special attack going on here, because that was kind of a fun feature of the Ghost Driver. But anyway, let's turn this on. Eyecon Driver G. That's a lot quieter, actually, than I was expecting it to be. The speaker is actually in here, I believe, where you attach the belt strap, which is interesting. It seems kind of quiet as it is, and it might be even more quiet when you put the belt strap on. I don't know, maybe there were complaints about the Ghost Driver being too loud. I cannot say. But let me turn that on again. Hopefully you can kind of see the light up effect here. Hopefully my lights aren't too blaring here to mask it. it's a little difficult to see, but you do have kind of a little funnel that like funnels light onto this like screen here, and you can kind of vaguely see the image that shows up underneath if you look at the iris in the right light. But basically it looks like this without the lights turned on, and then when you activate something, you can see the faceplate and all 15 faceplates around it. I'm actually going to turn off one of my lights here. See if I can't capture that a little bit better. So one more time. There we go. Yeah, that looks a whole lot better. But that is the only image you're going to see on this thing. It lights up different colors, but the image itself does not change. So hopefully I won't have to turn off that light any more times over the course of this demonstration. Now that it is on, let's see what it does here. Focus, buddy. Focus, you got focus? Yes? Yes, yes. Okay, so you got a button and you got a lever. Let's push the button. This is the standby. It says, Gachimina Kochinikina, I believe, which means like, Gachimina is another form of Bachirimina, which basically means like look over here. I think literally it means like look firmly or look strongly, something like that. Kochinikina means like come over here. So it's like look at this, come over here, look closer, I guess. Very, very groovy, very disco. I really like that standby. But anyway, if you press it one more time here, I believe you get the henshin sound. No, we get the standby again. So actually, that's interesting. If you let the standby run out, it resets it rather than just going straight to the henshin. But anyway. So there is the henshin. Zen KAIGAN. Zen means all things. KAIGAN means awaken or eyes open. So that basically means all eyes open. All 15 eyes opening at once, which is kind of cool. The henshin itself says, Kengo Hakin Kyoshu ni Osama Samurai Bozu ni Sniper. Dai Henge. So, it lists a bunch of classifications: swordsman, discover, maestro, king, samurai, Buddhist priest, sniper. Many things that a couple of the souls, it's not all 15, but a couple of the souls fall into those multiple categories, I think. And then Dai Henge means great transformation. I really do like that, like those henshin sounds. I really do like all the standby sounds in this. A lot of people are annoyed with the musical and talkative drivers, especially when they go on for that long, but I cannot get enough of them personally, and I really, really like this driver's sounds. So, now, you got all the ghosts that this guy can summon. Each one of them has its own attack. You can mix and match ghosts and have them do an attack together. And then Grateful itself has 2 attacks. One by itself and one with all 15 eyes together. So let's see if we can't demonstrate all of that, because there's a lot to go over here. Hopefully I don't lose track. So first, let's do Grateful's standard attack here. Press that one more time. You get kind of a generic standby sound here. So just a Zen Dai KAIGAN Omega Drive. Pretty simple stuff there. But now it sort of gets interesting. So if I pull this and switch to Musashi here, as I sort of demonstrated earlier, so it says the name. It's got the name there. It says Deru 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 Zo, which means come, like it's kind of a little chant that basically means come on out. So it's asking the ghost to come out of the icon. And then I believe when you press this, it'll send them out. So it says Rashe, which means like have a nice time, basically. So it sends the ghost out and then, hey, have a nice time while you're out, which is kind of fun. And then it plays a specific jingle, I suppose, for each form. It's not the full jingle from the Ghost Driver, so it's not completely devaluing the Ghost Driver or the individual icons themselves, but you do get a little bit of a taste of the jingle from the Ghost Driver. So in Musashi's case, you have some slashing swords, which is sort of cool. Now, if you just have one ghost out, it just does like a singular attack here. So press it one more time for an attack. And this standby is Zoku Zoku Ikuzo, which is very cool. I love how I don't know. I love how jamming these jingles are. But it basically says like shake shake let's go. Zoku Zoku Ikuzo. And then press it again. So it says Kengo Omega Formation. Kengo means swordsman. Omega Formation is probably more appropriate when you have more than one ghost summoned here, but that's kind of the attack that it does. It kind of has like a weird, almost like a car driving by sound effect, but I guess that's like the ghost zooming past the enemy or something like that. But it just says let's go, and then the the attack there. So that's very cool. Now let's actually summon a couple of ghosts here. So let's do Edison, Deru 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 Zo, Rashe, does a little electrical sound, and then let's actually summon Robin Hood as well. It actually does say Robin Hood on there too, so they did fix their mistake on the individual icon itself, where it just says Robin. Come on, I know you want to focus. Maybe I have a setting in my camera wrong that makes the autofocus a little less snappy. But yeah, there's something about this that isn't quite focusing as quickly as I want it to. There we go, finally. But yeah, then you got Robin Hood, and then if you have them do an Omega Formation together, so you have the same sound effect for the attack itself, but it says Dendo and Arrow. Dendo means like electricity, Arrow means arrow, of course. So each of them have their own little title along with their name. So let's just do all the other ones together here. So Newton. Got a little apple falling sound there. Got a pistol shot there. The Fifth Symphony. That is actually a little bit different than the sound from the actual icon. So that's cool. Goemon, my personal favorite of the 15. kabuki drums there. Some water and seagulls there. I was actually mistaken when I did the demo for the individual icon. That is actually seagulls. I thought it sounded like a TIE fighter laser or something like that, but those are seagulls, and that is the ocean in the background. Because Ryoma, like, basically founded the Japanese Navy, as far as I understand. That's something I did not realize when I initially did that video. The Sunglass Slasher, where I showed the Ryoma icon. But anyway, moving on. Himiko. Some bells or something like that. Also, another mistake I made in the video that had Himiko's icon. The eyes, maybe these two are cherry blossoms, but the ones, the little eyebrow sections above on the faceplate are actually like some kind of shaman pendant from Japan. I forgot exactly what it's called. I'll have it in text on the screen. During the Omega Drive, the picture where it's the two hands, I suppose praying, and they have a necklace around the wrists, and on the end of that is the pendant that I'm talking about here. It's got a very distinct shape, and if you Google it, you'll know what I'm talking about here. But that is another mistake I made with a previous icon. And then did I call this? I don't want to press the button in case I didn't call it. Let's just move on. I must have, because it doesn't make that sound unless you call it. That you have like I don't know, some kind of stringed instrument, maybe of Egyptian origin. Nobunaga. Cheering crowd there. Little drum roll. Very magical sounding sound there, I guess. Huh. So, I guess, when you get to the last one, it just automatically activates this. Interesting. Huh. Oh, maybe I'm mistaken. Maybe I just didn't press the button properly? That was interesting. But anyway, there you go. There's Sanzo. And then, that's all, well, that's, I think, like 12 of them, 13 of them, something like that. And then, when you put them all together, you go in for the attack, the Zoku Zoku Ikuzo. I apologize for that. I don't know. I thought when I hit it, it started making this sound, and I was like, what? What? I didn't, but what? Anyway. Huh. Maybe I did do something wrong, because that was just Sanzo. Yeah, like I said, this thing's complex. Let's go back to Grateful here. Let's turn this off. Let's figure out what we did wrong. Okay. Alright, so, Musashi, call. Edison, call. Robin, call. Newton, call. Billy, call. Beethoven, call. Benkei, call. Goemon, call. Ryoma, call. Himiko, call. Tutankhamen, call. Nobunaga, call. Houdini, call. Grimm, call. Now, You did hear Sanzo alone, but before I do all 15 of them together, I do want to just cycle through all the other ones before I include Sanzo. So Sanzo says Sorio, which basically just means like monk. So that's his little title there. And this should do what I want it to. So if I hit this with all 14 of the ghosts summoned, there we go. So it says the title of all of them you summoned, any number, any combination. That was all 14, not including Sanzo, which I said is Soryu. But you got Kengo for Musashi, Swordsman, Dendo, Electric, Arrow, Apple, or Arrow just means arrow. Then you got Ringo for Newton, Apple. Billy is Cowboy, which is just cowboy, of course. For Beethoven, you have Kyosho, which is like a maestro. For Benkei, it's Muso, which is like peerless. Goemon, Kaito, thief. You have Ryoma, Dazeo, which is kind of an interesting one. As I understand, it's just like a very specific Japanese dialect that he had, or maybe it's just kind of the way his generation lived or spoke or something, and I think like his descendants, or the descendants of the area he lived in, have kind of a similar dialect. I don't really know. Japanese culture, how does it work? Anyway, then for Himiko you have Joo, which is queen. Tut, you have Dio, which is great king. Nobunaga, Busho, military commander. Houdini, Dasho, which is like escape. Grim, Dokusho, which is like a reading, I guess, or like a storybook, I suppose. And then Sanzo, Soryu, monk, as I mentioned earlier. So that is all of the callouts individually. And like I said, you can just do random combinations. You can summon Robin, and then you can summon Goemon, and then press the attack, and it'll do an Omega formation that says Arrow and Kaito. And then just the same kind of zooming car sound effect there. But if you do call all 15 of them together, which I, made sure to skip. Huh. So this is something actually the instructions did say could happen. It could get caught in between two sections there. And I guess to solve that, you just need to kind of do a half pull. So when you switch the faces, make sure you do a full pull there so it switches all the way. Anyway, let me go back to Grateful here. By the way, this is, despite it being a little monotonous because there's 15 settings, it is very satisfying to pull this trigger and spin the little cylinder in the middle that shows all of the faces here. But anyway, here we are, back at Grateful. Let's actually turn it back on. Let's do the henshin one more time, because we haven't heard it in a while. Gachimina, go get it. And now, let's do the final attack. So, all 15, here we go. Are you annoyed yet? This should do what I want. If it doesn't, I'm gonna do a cut and figure out what I did wrong. But there we go. So instead of going through all 15 names, it does its own little thing, which is, Zendai KAIGAN, Let's Go, Zenin Shugo, Mega Omega Formation, which means all eyes open, let's go, all in protection, or all in defense, Omega Mega Formation. Mega Omega, rather. So yeah, that's pretty much everything this does. One more thing, if you hold this button in, I believe, you get the detransformation sound eventually there. It says Kaisan, which means break up. So it splits the Eyecon Driver G up into the 15 icons that make it up in the end there. And if you switch back to Grateful, you get the Henshin sound again. And I think you can actually... Oh, maybe not. I thought you could actually disassemble it at any time, but maybe you can only do it at certain points. Yeah. So it started to do the attack, but then it realized that I was holding it in, and it broke up the transformation there. So that is the Eyecon Driver G. It's been a journey. It's been quite a while here. This thing does a lot. It's got a lot of sounds, and there's actually a lot of potential. There isn't a whole lot of cross-compatibility with the rest of the line, unfortunately, but it's kind of its own thing. And like I said, if you don't want to hunt all 15 icons, but kind of want something to represent all of them, this is kind of the thing to get. Honestly, if you don't like the look of the Ghost Driver, in some ways, I think this is the better driver of the two. So if you just want one Ghost Driver in your collection, or one driver from Ghost, if you like the way this one looks a bit better, if you like it sounds a bit better, I see no problem in getting that instead of collecting the Ghost Driver and all 15. Do note that Ghost's final form, for some reason, goes back to the Ghost Driver. Honestly, I was expecting some kind of attachment on this thing for his final form, but nope. The Mugen icon, the Infinite icon, which is Ghost's final form, as far as we know, uses the Ghost Driver again. So it is sort of weird that this is one thing for a single form, but I think it's a pretty cool form, personally. I think this has some really cool sounds to it. And like I said, it's just a little bit smaller than the Ghost Driver. If nothing else, I think it's a little bit more manageable, a little bit more wieldy. So, there you go. That is really it. Let's do one last, comparison side by side with a standard icon to see how far we've come from Ore to Grateful, and that'll just about do it. So, until next time, this is IX Roll at IX, signing off.